and Chris, you and I get to talk after another Alabama win. What an effort we saw on Saturday against Vanderbilt.
Well, we did, and these are a lot more fun, thoroughly enjoyable. And the fun thing is that this team is getting better. Not that that was a perfect performance by any stretch, but uh, really managed things well when it looked like Vandy was about to make it 14-0 there in the first half. You force a turnover and get a takeaway, and then tie it up. Then when it looks like they're going to go to the locker room up seven and get the ball first to begin the second half, you find a way to get points on the board, tie it up, and flip momentum going into the second half. And even though, to their credit, Vandy limited Alabama to 3 field goals in the second half before that clinching score, you still got in position and converted on those 3 opportunities so that it was a 2 score lead, so that you did have the option of just running to run out the clock potentially, and you bust one for a TD. Just a lot of good things that took place in that against obviously a much improved, very talented Vanderbilt squad.
How good is it to see that Alabama in the games against Georgia, in the games against Vanderbilt, there's been some adversity in game, but it hasn't really rattled this Tide team, maybe in the way it would have a year ago where we saw it pop up a few times,
Yeah.
or even in the Florida State game.
You know, the fact that this team could fall behind to that team, meaning Vandy again, um, and be on the verge of again that being a 2 score game. That could have been very, very different. That game looks very different if they're even able to make it a 10-0 contest, but they didn't. And just so impressed with the defense forcing turnovers like they are, but the offense then turning around and doing what Vandy had done. They got to take away, march 90 plus yards to put the first points of the game on the board. Bama's takeaway results in a 90 plus yard drive as well. And just excited to see them overcome that adversity, manage things when it's not perfect, and find a way to get the job done. And again, put themselves in position. You know, skies falling a month ago. And now you pick up and see where, you know, all the national talking heads, and Vegas included, are talking about Alabama being one of the top 3 choices to play for or win the national title. Trust me, I like this better than the other, but it doesn't mean any more today than the the season's over conversation did 4 weeks ago. There's a ton of work to be done, and you could be right back in that mode in the thinking of some people if you don't find a way to continue to play well at a high level as you'll need to in Columbia this weekend.
Certainly will need that. And for Alabama to continue having this success, need more solid quarterback play from Ty Simpson. Just in your opinion, what's he doing best leading this Alabama offense?
Decision making. Uh, Tyler Watts talked a lot, as you know, on the broadcast about timing, which seemed to be off in the first half, but was a whole lot better in the second. And that's not just Ty, that's overall with the offense. Um, I'm really impressed with you. Talk about not getting rattled. You finally get the job you've been wanting, the starting quarterback role at the University of Alabama, and you lose to Florida State right out of the gate by 2 scores. And not that it was all his fault by any stretch. In fact, he did probably a better job than his numbers would have even indicated in that first game. But it's still a loss, and you're the quarterback. And so much falls on you, and fingers get pointed your direction. So for him to manage that and become what he's become, we talk about the team going from what are they going to do to now being in the national championship conversation. Ty Simpson goes from being 0-1 as a starter to now he's in the conversation for the Heisman. So that's, again, prefer that tremendously over what we experienced 4 weeks ago. But that alone is an indication of how quickly things can change, and just keep pressing forward. And I have no doubt the Ty's going to keep doing that.
Pressing forward, and we're pressing forward to Columbia, Missouri, coming up on Saturday morning for Alabama against, once again, an undefeated team in the Missouri Tigers. And Chris, certainly a team that knows how to run the football and is playing some strong defense as well.
They are. And I think that was the key with Vandy as well is that doing things on both sides that make them very dangerous. You can't just feel like you shut down an offense and okay, they can't beat you the other way. They're good defensively also. And we'll both pour more a whole lot into the Tigers as we go through the week, but you don't have to look very far and you see that number like you said, undefeated at this stage of the year, getting better just as Alabama is and you better play well. And again, early starts can be a little tricky for some teams. Good thing for Alabama, they're used to going early. Practice time starts at 9 or 10 o'clock virtually every day. So this will not be an adjustment for them. This will be like going to work almost every single day. But it's vitally important that they continue to play well, especially I think a quick start on the road and take care of business the way they have throughout the course of the year.
Well, throughout the course of the week, you'll be busy with the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer, with Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show on Wednesday night. Then it's off to Missouri. Chris, we're looking forward to everything that's coming up. And hopefully, when we
Yeah,
talk again next week, we're not just going to talk about another Alabama football win. I'm not going to bring it up today, but next week, let's talk a little basketball. How about that?
I am excited about that as well. And also with the show, uh, Justin Jefferson, I think, has been confirmed to be our student athlete that we'll talk to from football with Coach DeBoer and really enjoy the conversations we get to have with the players during the show. That's something that Coach has added to what he wants his radio show to look like and sound like, and we're glad to make that work. I think it's been terrific for the student athletes, but it's been great for the fans to get to know these people better. It's not just a number and a helmet, a jersey. It's who they are, and we got some great young people at the University of Alabama. It's an honor and exciting to get to share them, show them off, if you will, to the fans and anybody that tunes in.
We look forward to it. Chris, safe travels to Missouri. Thank you. Roll Tide.
You too, buddy. Thanks.